You build yourself up. You leave the past in the past in terms of you as an adult, and you move on to fresher, newer pastures, right? You transition to bigger and better things in your life, bigger, better versions of yourself. That's what progress is. That's what opening your potential is. It's the idea of alcoholic and what it does to you long term. That's what I have a big problem with. Like I said, what other area of your life do you use this kind of intuition or thinking? If you're overweight and you lose the weight, you get to a normal weight, you don't go around calling yourself fat, right? You don't carry on calling yourself a smoker. If you've given up cigarettes, you don't, carry on calling yourself a drug addict if you've stopped drinking or you've stopped using the drug. But, it's there's variations of it, I suppose. For me, it's people that are, one element of it, I think, is people like to stay in that victim mentality. It's a bit like, what's that condition where you get a kidnapper, and the kidnappee becomes or falls in love with the kidnapper. I think there's something about this that smacks of that for me, right? I could be completely wrong with this, but it just does. There's an element of this that is like, well, I'm used to this struggle now, and I don't want to give up the struggle. I don't want to give up that identity that I've had. I've studied a lot of psychology over the years. I've studied a lot of self-help, and it just seems to me completely counterintuitive to what we would normally do in life. What the normal advice would be. If you sit your kid down, you want your kid to progress in life. You don't tell them that they have this a gene inside of them that makes them stupid. You don't tell them that they've got something wrong with them that is going to hold them back, especially when there's no real clear evidence of that, right? Normally you build your kid up, you build yourself up. You leave the past in the past in terms of you as an adult, and you move on to fresher, newer pastures, right? You transition to bigger and better things in your life, bigger, better versions of yourself. That's what progress is. That's what opening your potential is. The more potential that you open up for yourself, the bigger your prospects are going to be. I'm not talking about getting shit or becoming shit. I'm just talking about being the person that you want to be, enjoying your life, getting to that stage where you're really, life becomes the thing that you want it to be instead of the thing that you want to fucking escape from, right? For me, it's like, when we're talking about the self-help and we're talking about that building yourself up and moving yourself onto bigger and better versions of yourself, and then we've got the alcoholic. And that for me seems like it's, you're trapped in a corrupted version of your own past self, something that you can never escape from. And it always reminds me of that old Superman movie with Christopher Reeves in it. I can't remember which one. I think it was probably Superman 2 or something. And General Zod and his group of weird friends, they're all caught up in that weird mirror thing. That's what it reminds me of, just floating around in space and never been able to get away from it, it's a weird analogy, but there it is, But I think people get caught up in that fantasy of it becomes their thing, almost like the Gollum and his Precious, to quote another movie. You can tell I'm a movie buff, right? Anyway, take care of yourself. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.